right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Wind chill Wednesday. The cold breeze that'll have you reaching for extra layers early Wednesday morning.
Plus, 'tis the season for charitable donations. With 40-year high inflation, we verify how to make the biggest impact with your donated dollars. But first tonight, just a few hours ago, a Missouri man executed for killing a police officer.
Bill was killed on his hands and knees in the front of strangers and people he dedicated his life to.
Hear from the officer's family after multiple attempts to halt the execution failed. Good evening, I'm Brent Solomon. Mike and Ann have the night off. Just a little over 2 hours ago, Kevin Johnson was executed by lethal injection. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend now with the very latest developments from the state prison in Bonne Terre.
After more than a 2-hour wait, Kevin Johnson was executed here at this state prison for the murder of Kirkwood Police Sergeant William McEntee 17 years ago.
Bill was killed on his hands and knees in the front of strangers and people he dedicated his life to.
For the first time since that tragic and heartbreaking day, Sergeant McEntee's widow spoke out during a brief news conference after the execution. Mary McEntee held back tears as she talked about the day Johnson ambushed, repeatedly shot and killed her husband, the father of her 3 kids, as he sat in his patrol car. The fallen police sergeant's widow and 2 loved ones witnessed the execution of 37-year-old Kevin Johnson.
His children were devastated that their dad was murdered, being 7, 10, and 13. They didn't have a chance to say goodbye. It took 17 years of grieving and pushing forward to get to this point today. This is something I hope no other family has to go through, because you truly never forget or get over.
Mary McEntee only read her statement and did not take any questions from reporters. 4 of Kevin Johnson's family members witnessed his execution. In Bonne Terre, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And that execution was delayed as officials awaited a decision from the DOJ. In a statement, Governor Mike Parson said he hopes this will bring some closure to Sergeant McEntee's loved ones. Tonight, more than 25 million people in the South are under the gun of severe weather. Tornado warnings and watches are issued across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So far, no widespread reports of injuries or damage. Closer to home, some rain showers and gusty winds today, and it's ushering in some chilly changes. With your Weather First forecast, here's Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
Now, the good news is our weather alert is over for this evening. As we've seen the front come through St. Louis, we've already seen the strongest winds that we're going to see, and any threat for stronger storms long gone from St. Louis. But that threat does continue over the Deep South. Big storms and producing damage across parts of Mississippi into Alabama right now. A lot of heavy rain up into Nashville. Meanwhile, as the front came through, it did kick off a few showers, perhaps a couple of rumbles of thunder, but most of that's been to the east and southeast of St. Louis. Put the live scan on there with all of the local radars here. And again, what's left is over to the east of St. Louis and fading away. What's coming in now? The colder air. Down to 38 degrees in St. Louis. It's in the 20s in northwest and north central Missouri. Well, that's what we're waking up to tomorrow morning. We'll still have the gusty winds overnight, not as strong as they were right after the front moved through, but it will be colder. That cold air moving in right now. Wind chills will be near 20 degrees early tomorrow. We're talking about the weekend in just a few minutes, Brent.
All right, we'll see you then. Noon tonight, we're getting our first look at never-before-seen photos of 3 former St. Louis aldermen accepting bribes from an undercover FBI informant. The photos released as part of a sentencing memorandum. Lewis Reed, Jeffrey Boyd, and John Collins Muhammad all pled guilty to bribery charges. Prosecutors are asking a judge to sentence Reed and Collins Muhammad to up to 46 months in prison and Boyd to up to 37 months. We have a full gallery of these photos for you posted at KSDK.com. New tonight, a local lawmaker wants to beef up the state's Courage to Report system. It follows an I-Team report showing how the anonymous tip line is falling short for some victims. Tonight, Christine Byers with exclusive information on one lawmaker's plan to fix it.
The Missouri Highway Patrol only knows what happened to less than half of the calls that came into the state's anonymous tip line. The I-Team reported that stat earlier this month, and it didn't sit well with Representative Sarah Unsicker. The representative saw the I-Team's interview with Maura Benson. She called the state's anonymous hotline in August of 2021 to report a teacher for abuse. He kept his job and allegedly sexually assaulted a 14-year-old student. The Missouri Highway Patrol manages the Courage to Report system Benson called. It sent her tip to St. Louis County Police and the school district, as it does for every tip that comes in. The I-Team learned nothing requires schools and police to tell the Highway Patrol how or if they follow up. Representative Unsicker wants to change that. She's working on a bill that would require schools and police to follow up with the Highway Patrol.
School districts should have to act on whatever information they receive, and they should have to report back to the Highway Patrol what they did.
Unsicker also says she wants the Highway Patrol to give a report to the Missouri legislature on how many calls come in and how they were acted upon. To learn more about resources for sexual assault victims, go to KSDK.com.
Christine, thanks. Also tonight, we've heard from another state representative-elect who saw our I-Team story online and says he's interested in co-sponsoring that bill next year. St. Louis police are trying to find the criminals who broke into 2 more businesses in South City overnight. Over the past 5 days, 6 businesses were targeted, and that's according to police reports. The suspects are primarily looking for money. Our I-Team has learned there were 70 smash and grabs in 3 weeks in the city from October 26th to November 16th. Police believe that there are at least 3 active groups committing these crimes. Tonight, the Normandy Schools Collaborative raised the curtain for their very own opera written by students with the help of Opera Theater St. Louis. 5 on your side's Laura Bachesky was there for the big debut. Laura.
Brent, this was a very special show for these kids, their families, and the Normandy Schools Collaborative as they work to rebuild their music and arts program that took a hit during the pandemic and grow with help from the community.
It's been months and months and months of practicing, and I'm actually kind of excited for this.
You have to have on what you had on today.
These Jefferson School students are getting ready to take the stage to perform their very own opera, The Big Bad Day, based on the book, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs.
It was about the wolf who said that it was not his fault that the houses fell down. He did not huff and puff and mean to blow them down, but that he had some problems and, you know, he was looking for some help.
4th grader Aiden Westbrook plays the Big Bad Wolf.
The wolf is over here like, bro, what is happening? Like, I didn't do anything wrong, I just have allergies.
Normandy School's Fine Arts Director Suzanne Palmer says that got the ideas flowing, and with the help of Opera Theater of St. Louis teaching artist Valerie Lynn Smith, they brought the kids' words to life.
She came in and wrote the libretto with the children. So every time they would throw out an idea, you know, she would write, they would write, I would write.
Did you help write any of it at all?
Yes. I wrote police.
Students from other Normandy schools also got to be part of the show, playing alongside St. Louis Symphony Orchestra musicians and working with UMSL staff backstage.
A student who's active in the arts, be it dance, theater, music, orchestra, they are going to perform better in school. And just watching these kids grow from the very beginning to absolutely owning the stage, it has been such a joy.
It was a free show tonight and the only performance they'll put on, but they want to continue growing the arts program at Normandy Schools, and donations are going to help them do that. So we'll have more information on KSDK.com. Brent.
Some very talented students there. Laura, thanks. Well, you have about 90 minutes left to help honor our heroes for the holidays. Tonight, Reefs Across America has raised enough money to buy more than 26,000 reefs. They will be placed on the graves at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. 4,000 wreaths purchased in just the last 24 hours. They cost $15 each, and we have much more info for you on how to donate and how to volunteer to help place the wreaths. That's on the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. Well, the holidays have arrived at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Tonight, 2 young heart transplant patients flipped the switch on the holiday lights, both in and outside of the hospital in the Central West End there. Before tonight's lighting, patients got a visit from Santa, Elsa from Frozen, and Chase from Paw Patrol. Even Blues defenseman Colton Parayko was there. Tonight, the Senate passes landmark legislation protecting same-sex marriage.
What a great day.
The backlash for a Missouri lawmaker joining the bipartisan effort. It's the season of giving, but many have less to share. Tonight, we verify how to maximize your donated dollars and make sure it's going to the right place.
That weather front, it's through St. Louis. Now the colder air is surging in. Why Wednesday is going to be the coldest afternoon this week.
If you have a tip for the 5 on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Let's go ahead and take a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where tonight a bipartisan breakthrough in the Senate is securing the right to gay marriage in America. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt joined 11 other Republicans to vote with Democrats. The Respect for Marriage Act guarantees the federal government will recognize any marriage if the union was valid in the state where it was performed. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth said the Supreme Court's move to overturn abortion rights prompted them to take action in this case.
With a small group of far-right justices signaling their openness to taking away the right and after right for millions of Americans, I think that this historic legislation that has broad bipartisan support will move our nation closer to protecting marriage equality for all in all states.
Now, the new measure goes to a vote in the House as early as next week. It includes language that would allow people not to participate in gay weddings if they felt it violated their personal religious views. Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft said Senator Blunt sent him a letter asking him to stop the passage of that bill. He claimed it would embolden the Department of Justice and is, quote, counter to Missourians' overwhelming desire that marriage be between a man and a woman. It included a handwritten note urging the retiring Republican to stand strong for Missourians. Tonight, congressional leaders from both parties are vowing to pass legislation to prevent a nationwide freight rail strike. This after a White House meeting with President Biden. Congress has the ability to impose a labor agreement. More than 400 industry groups warn a strike would lead to certain economic destruction. Well, today was Giving Tuesday, and tonight, more than 300 local teachers received free school supplies to help their students finish strong. Kid Smart kicked off its Light Up Learning season at its Maryland Heights facility tonight. $1 million in school supplies will be distributed this week. Ameren donated $50,000.
At Ameren, we hire a lot of people every year also. And one of the things we see is that we clearly, education is one of those areas throughout the country that we have to really improve in for everyone. And, events like this really help people get a step up.
Hundreds of more teachers will receive school supplies this week, all thanks to generous donors. To find a local organization you can donate to, text the word GIVING to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a list. Giving Tuesday is just one day in this season of giving. With 40-year high inflation, many may have less money to share this year. So let's verify how you can make the most of all of your donations. Here's Abby Larico.
We turn to a few different sources to learn more about how to make each dollar as impactful as possible. First, know where your donation is going. Nonprofits should be able to provide a unique EIN, employee identification number, to prove the organization is legit.
You want to make sure that you're supporting a
501c3 organization that's a public charity.
Nonprofit watchdogs like Charity Navigator or the Better Business Bureau's Give.org can provide insight on a charity's operations and how much of your donation will actually go toward the cause. Be mindful of how you are donating. Credit card transactions usually cost up to a few dollars. You may be asked to cover that fee along with your donation. According to their own websites, online giving portals like GoFundMe and Facebook will take a percentage of some donations for operating costs, though Facebook says it will cover the cost of donating to charities. Put those dollars to work. GivingTuesday.org says matching donation programs are a great incentive to donate this holiday via other donor pledges or with company match policies. If you are establishing a recurring donation,
It's a very beautiful thing to do.
but Charity Navigator's Kevin Scully recommends reading the fine print.
So you know exactly when your money is going to be taken out, how much is going to be taken out.
And of course, keep an eye out for scammers.
Be really careful about donating over the phone. I would totally recommend against it.
The Federal Trade Commission says be wary of any links sent to you on texts or emails or your friends share on social media. Consider going straight to the site to actually donate. The FTC warns scammers will often create websites that sound and look like the real thing, which can fool even the most thoughtful giver.
This time of year brings out the best in people, but it can also bring out the worst in people.
Of course, money isn't the only way to give. Charity Navigator reminds us how important donations of items or our time volunteering or even just spreading the word about causes that are important to us can be to a nonprofit. Happy Giving Tuesday. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
And if there's something you'd like us to verify, send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. Well, once again, 5 on Your Side is teamed up with the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition for the Little Wishes campaign. We still have more than 2,800 wishes to grant to area foster kids. So go to ksdk.com/Little Wishes to purchase a gift. Time now for your weather first forecasts. Chief Meteorologist Scott Cano now tracking some potential storms outside of our area, right?
Yeah, they're all well to the south and east of St. Louis now, so we don't have to worry about that. But we have the gusty breeze. I picked the Main Street and St. Charles camera because you can see some of the holiday decorations kind of flapping in the breeze down on Main Street. Of course, they do everything up to the high degree for the holidays on Main Street in St. Charles. Off to the south and east, that's where we're finding our showers and thunderstorms right now. Yes, there are some flashes of lightning that we've seen from this batch that developed out ahead of the front, heading over towards the Wabash River Valley at this point, but out of the 5 on Your Side viewing area. And what's coming in is colder air. Temperatures are dropping. Still 50 in Mount Vernon and 54 in Flora, but not for much longer. Columbia is down to 33. The high there was 70 degrees today. It feels like it's 22 in Columbia. It feels like it's 25 in Chesterfield. And we'll push those cold wind chills off to the east as we head through the rest of the night and into tomorrow. How about how we started Tuesday? This from Karen in New Melle. A beautiful sky this morning. And then we saw the winds pick up as expected. And some of those wind gusts lasted into this evening right after the front passes through. We saw the wind gusts to 40 miles per hour at Lambert, Smartfield, and St. Charles up to 44. So those were the top winds today, with the winds subsiding a bit overnight and the threat for any nasty weather gone. We do not have the weather alert going. 63 degrees was our high in St. Louis. We dropped back to 38. By tomorrow morning, we are in the mid to upper 20s, and it will feel even colder. In the warm, muggy air down in the deep south, big storms continue to flare up ahead of this cold front tonight. Strong to severe storms across parts of Mississippi, into Alabama, even up into portions of Tennessee. This whole area sliding eastbound through the overnight hours into early tomorrow morning as that front moves in. Now that front takes all that rain to the east coast, and the threat for severe weather diminishes as we head into tomorrow. Not nearly what we've seen like this evening down south, but the cold air is working in here tomorrow morning. We're waking up to these wind chills. It'll be in that 15 to 20 degree range heading out the door early tomorrow morning. As we go through the day, there's lots of sunshine, but it's cold sunshine. Temperatures struggling to get back much above 40 degrees, and that breeze does stick with us. It's more gusty in the morning, does settle a little bit later in the day. Look at this roller coaster we're on temperature-wise. Chilly weather on Wednesday. Thursday, we're at 46, close to 60 on Friday. It does look like a front comes through early on Saturday morning. That drops our temperatures back, and then some decent rain possible here as we head into Sunday evening. into Monday, perhaps into Tuesday morning, maybe a half an inch to an inch and a half, especially southeast of St. Louis. But we'll fine tune that as we get closer. And with it being Giving Tuesday, a reminder that Heat Up St. Louis is out there, and they certainly could use your help. HeatUpSt.Louis.org, easy way to make an online donation, and you can help our seniors and those with disabilities stay safely warm.
That's true, but I want to make sure I heard you right, Scott. Even with the sun shining, it's going to be cool.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah,
no, not
cold.
cool. It's going to be cold.
We better get it right. Scott, thanks for that. Here's Holden Kurwicki now with sports.
All right, Brent, it's a busy night on the hardwood for teams on both sides of the Bi-State, with the Illini showing some fight as Mizzou look to keep its undefeated season alive. I'll have the highlights on the other side of the break. Coming into tonight's game, the Missouri Tigers were undefeated, albeit with a schedule that looked a lot like my Thanksgiving plate, just full of cupcakes. That changed tonight in Wichita, where the Tigers went head-to-head with an always talented Wichita State Shocker squad, and in the second half, the Tigers would begin to pull away. Demoy Hodge would get it back and put it back in. Mizzou lead by 9, but hold on. Back came the Shockers. They'd go on a 16-0 run. James Rojas would control it at the baseline. He'd score as Wichita State leads by 7. They would actually go on to run up the score and go up by 10. But Mizzou would handle the adversity. Noah Carter would drive and score, and this game would go to overtime. And then it's Carter again. He would finish with a game-high 20 as Mizzou goes to 8-0. The final in this one, 88-84. Meanwhile, in Champaign, the 16th-ranked Illinois Fighting Illini welcomed in Jim Boeheim and Syracuse, and the Orange's 3-2 zone would keep things close early before Terrence Shannon would catch it on the wing and knock down the long jumper from 3. That would be 3 of his game-high 17 points. But the real story in this one was forward Coleman Hawkins, who responded from his scoreless game against Lindenwood in a big way. He would finish with 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists for his first career triple-double as the Illini cruise to the 73-44 win. Coming off a heartbreaking loss at Auburn, the SLU Billikens will look to get back to their winning ways tomorrow night against Tennessee State. Head coach Travis Ford was casually shooting around before his team practiced this afternoon, and he didn't look like a man whose thoughts really lingered over SLU's late collapse at Auburn on Sunday. He said that was accurate. He let go of the loss before he got off the team plane coming home, but he does say there's still some use for that loss.
We'll work on some things we didn't practice yesterday. We'll work on some things that we didn't do well in that game, but we're not going to dwell on the outcome of it. That game's over. We gotta move on.
TUS up, but then had to leave the game at halftime. St. Dominic's Josh Sargent took the word. Going now from football to football, where the losses are starting to pile up for Mizzou. 2 days after Dominic Lovett announced he was entering the transfer portal, he's being joined by former high school teammate Tyler Macon. After starting 3 games at quarterback as a true freshman last season, the former Flyer only saw action in 3 games this season, finishing with negative 11 yards. The former 4-star recruit still has 3 years of eligibility remaining. And this afternoon, the folks with the Ascension Charity Golf Tournament announced that over $1.3 million from this year's event will go to their charity partners. Mary Grove, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater St. Louis, and the Urban League will each receive $225,000.
We will go up higher, I can tell you that right now. We're looking at maybe doing a concert next year, adding a concert as part of the portfolio.
When would that be?
We probably would do it sometime the week of the event. We haven't finalized, haven't announced anything, but we're looking at doing something like that to just continue to grow. The build-out's going to get a little bit bigger.
It's always nice to see the teams in athletic venues in our area give back and truly prove that it's more than a game.
That's right. That impact really makes a difference.
That's a big difference, especially at this time of the year, Brent.
You're right about it. Holden, thanks. Well, a worker shortage at the North Pole. The reason there are fewer Santas to go around. Well, how would you like free McDonald's for life? The fast food chain is giving away 3 Make Gold cards. It's good for 2 meals a day for 50 years. Each winner will also get 3 cards to give away. You must make a purchase on the McDonald's app between December 5th and 25th to register. Well, there could be a Santa shortage this Christmas. Demand is up 30% over last year, which was a record year. But there are fewer St. Nick's to show up at holiday gatherings. There's also big demand for Mrs. Claus and Santa's elves. A holiday classic is returning to the silver screen. It's a Wonderful Life will be shown in movie theaters nationwide for 2 nights only. Theaters on both sides of the river will showcase the 1946 film on December 18th and on the 21st. You gotta have it for Christmas. That's all for 5 on Your Side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. His guests, Whoopi Goldberg and Sam Worthington. We hope you have a great night.